Match day 12 for the ESL Pro League. So much to be looking forward to for this one. Yes, indeed, we're jumping back into it. And tonight you have your hot match of the week as well. Hot like a volcano, it will erupt as our third series of the day. We get to see North versus Fnatic, the Swedes, back from their tour of the world, ending, of course, in China. And they're going to be looking to once again be putting in a show-stopping performance there versus the Danish Lions. It's all coming up on tonight's show. You don't want to miss this.
Welcome to the GameFlip pre-show.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed, welcome to the GameFlip pre-show. GameFlip, one of our sponsors here that make it all possible, and they are actually celebrating the ESL Pro League by providing a giveaway. $10,000 worth of goodies from hardware to in-game items. All of that can be found at gameflip.com/ESL. That's where you should go ahead and check it out. And I'm going to introduce you to our panelists here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk. We have Chad Birchall, myself, Machine, your host. And we're mixing things up today. We do have the Dane, who I don't know how he's alive and breathing after doing the night shift.
Probably streamed today as well.
Jacob Pimp Vinegar. Did you stream today as well?
Nah, I didn't do. Because you are mental if you're doing that as well.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Good to have you here, Jacob. We're going to be talking about some Counter-Strike, which I'm sure you've been doing a lot of recently.
Yeah, a lot of Counter-Strike, especially over at the NA Pro League show. But it's good to be here with the European guys, back to the roots.
Chances are that there's a majority of our viewers that don't get to watch Europe and North American Pro League. So I guess just mixing things up a little bit, what's like the current lay of the land in North America? Because the last time I just had a glance at the standings, it's like Cloud9 are sucking, NRG have won 17 games in a row. Like, I'm getting confused here.
I mean, you're pretty on point. It's a mess over there, basically. You can see the standings right here. We have NRG being the top dog of the league, and I don't think anyone expected that. Liquid up there as well. Probably the only NA team right now performing to the level they're actually at. And if you look towards the bottom, we have SK sitting at 11th right now. Had a rough showing yesterday as well. 3-7 in total. It's a team in free fall. You know, there's a lot of rumors going around them, and we may see some changes going into that team soon, because that is unacceptable for me.
I would bet my house on some changes in that SK Gaming roster, Alex.
And here in Europe as well, this one makes a little more sense. Some teams, however, make less. Na'Vi, 8 wins, 3 losses. Lots of people were not expecting to see that team even still standing at this stage of the Pro League /2018. And if you look towards the bottom, do note that 2 of our teams that came through the MDL, that's LDLC and AGO, you will get to see the French LDLC perform today, but their Fox hasn't been too sly just yet. 3 wins, 1 in overtime as well. This is what's coming up on tonight's show, though. We get to see the Space Soldiers. Big fans here at the desk for Space Soldiers and their development as a team. They'll be taking on EnVy, a team who are looking as lost as they ever have. Na'Vi LDLC will be our second, and we get that hot match to round it out. Hot tamale, Jack.
Yeah, you know, we're getting to a point where with these weeks, it's hard to pick a hot match because of how up and down the scene is right now. And this one we've obviously looked at last week. Is this one going to be the hot match of the week for this week? North haven't impressed, and Fnatic last night got absolutely manhandled by Astralis in the ECS. So big question marks. Maybe it's going to be a battle of 2 teams not on 100% form right now, which still exciting Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and exciting Counter-Strike continues in North America as well, just to fill you in. After Europe, there will be the North American Pro League. You get to see Renegades play. They're going to be taking on Optic Gaming, and you get to see more from Cloud9, this time versus Complexity. That should be 6 points.
And also, Jacob's going to hang around and do the double.
Madman!
I take a double shift today, man. I look forward to it.
A lot of the gang, a lot of the crew here from North America are hanging out with us, and we're going to be talking to them throughout both Europe and North America, so you get to see a whole lot more of Jacob Pimp Vinegar. I've been working on what my pronunciation.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've been watching the North American Pro League. I know Trace hasn't quite got his head around it.
Sucks.
I'm rocking it. I don't want to get too cocky, but I feel like I'm rocking it. Anyway, we are feeling electric today, and you know what? We're going to go ahead and start with a bit of electricity ourselves. Before we do jump in to break things down here for the GameFlip pre-show, we are going to quickly remind you of a weapon you probably don't use enough. It's the Zeus, and we'll be talking all about it after this.
Hey Future Pros! The Zeus X27 is a taser that both CTs and Ts can purchase. It's a one-shot weapon that can only be used for one single shot. The taser costs $200 but offers no kill reward. You can purchase the Zeus from the gear selection in the buy menu. If your enemy is below 183 units away, about 3 meters, you will kill them with one shot, just outside of this range, and you will only do damage to them. The further away, the lower the damage. After 230 units, it won't do damage at all. The goal when using this gun is to get into a sneaky position and wait for your enemy to round the corner. There are many positions on each map where you could potentially get away with a quick kill. But this won't work every time. If you miss, you're dead. Assuming you're playing with future pros like yourself, that is. So get creative and play to your map. Innovation is the key to success.
Go toe-to-toe with him now. We talked about flashiness. Can use the flash here. He does it again.
ProLeague.com/Dallas. Yes, indeed, Counter-Strike's coming home. It's where some of the first tournaments did take place, and now we find ourselves in 2018 in the Pro League finals. The culmination of all of this, we've been doing week after week, night after night, is to get to Dallas. The teams, of course, desperate to do so. Not only is it a notch in the Intel Grand Slam belt, but also it's a whole lot of cash as well. One of the biggest prize pools for online league. Yeah,
it's crazy, you know, right? We go through these entire seasons, you see the development of these teams, we get to the LAN finals, and there's always a mixed bag. You know, we're looking at teams who, Hellraisers last season, NRG last season, Misfits as well. They all surprised when we got to those LAN finals. Yeah. That's the exciting thing. We're getting some of these lower teams getting thrown into it and impressing.
And Jacob, what's your opinion now that they've announced the APAC qualifiers as well? They're actually going to be doing a Pro League for China. I saw that they've announced the teams there. There's a lot of different regions going to be converging into one place.
Yeah, I like the fact that we're getting out there in the world. We see it on our screens right now, some of the teams that we may see at the finals.
Yeah, this is the invites, right? So these are all 6 teams that have been invited to compete for the Season 7.
Exactly, and some of these teams we're going to see more and more and more. We just saw the WESG tournament a week ago where some of these teams impressed, especially MVP PK showed up and played well. We know Tai Lu Gaming as well, being one of the great teams. So there's a lot of teams out there that has the potential and the level to maybe mix up against some of the European and definitely the NA guys. So it's great to see them getting the chance to play against the very best on a top stage.
You just said Tai Lu, and I don't see them there. Chad, have you looked into this at all? It's surprising to see a team that has been on the international stage so much not invited to the Pro League.
They're a DreamHack.
That's the answer.
Yep.
Okay, well there you go. We've solved that one. They are actually at DreamHack, so they won't be competing. Which DreamHack?
Good question.
They're at it.
I'm pretty sure that they're attending another event. Now, that's why they wouldn't be playing. Otherwise, they would have definitely been invited, right? Yeah, they're the best team right now in the Asian region, potentially even all of Southeast Asia and Australia.
I remember the 5 Power in particular, Team 5 Power. They were at Star Series, Star Ladder. It was at the I-League Final Season 3.
We'll go on rolling back the years.
I remember their logo, and I just remember thinking it's absolutely hilarious. It says, I love CSGO, I love China. 5 Power.
Hey, look, they're straight to the point.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's got to be direct in life, man.
It's fantastic. It really is. But yes, that's the Pro League finals, and that's going to be coming up, of course, this year. You can still get your tickets, proleague.com/Dallas, if you're interested. And I think we'll all be there, so definitely worth checking it out.
Yeah, getting ahead of the announcement, but I'll definitely be there. I'm going to have a minnow shot this time.
Oh, God, don't
Did you do it?
No, that's
you
not
were there
cool,
last time.
Man. There's a live animal. That's not,
yeah, it's like a shot of some form of beverage with a live minnow in it.
I'm sure that's not particularly fun. Yeah, thank you, Jacob. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Welcome to my life.
Sounds disgusting. Do you know what else could be disgusting? Is Space Soldiers playing this game of Counter-Strike, because they are taking on Envy, and all round, it seems like faith has been lost in Envy, Jacob. I'd like to know your opinion. This French roster, which on paper should be right slap bang in the middle of the pack.
I mean, it's a lot of players where we just have lost faith in. I guess the sentiment for that one would be happy. You know, he's the in-game leader for this team. He's the guy who's been around forever, and he has seemed to stagnate a lot in terms of his career and his personal growth. Yeah. I don't see this team going anywhere right now. We haven't seen anything from them as of recently that said that, for example, adding Kiyoshima to the lineup or having Scream and Kiyoshima together would be any good mixture of player. It just doesn't seem to work out. I think there needs to be some sort of like red line they follow in terms of how they want to play, how they want to progress the team. And right now, it just seems like they're trying to scramble around what the heck can in France. Only player really impressed me is RPK. He seems to be delivering consistently, and it's only a matter of time before he's at some other team, and that's going to be the for EnVyUs.
But that's it. I think that's the main worry. I think now I look at Envy, and we talked about G2's roster changes and the fact that Shox is making a team. He's actually just publicly, I think it was Smith's actually on a podcast, I caught it today, he made a statement saying the likes of Kenny's interested if G2 doesn't work, RPK is on the list, and a lot of others. Like they're already shopping. Yeah,
here's the thing, right? This French scene, we don't want to find them in the same place as what we did with the Swedes for some time, where young talent wasn't coming through and being utilized. So the new kid that we all see playing FPL, who turned down an EnVyUs offer, apparently, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but it's...
Saiwu?
That's the one. But he is like a talent, an up-and-coming French talent, so I'd love to see him get involved in this. You know, this EnVyUs conversation goes deeper than just EnVyUs. It goes into the talks with Existence being removed from LDLC. Now you've got Shox and Smiths coming back to play, so that whole dynamic changes. If you could take 2 players from this EnVyUs roster right here and add them in with Smiths, Shox, and Existence, you'd have a pretty dangerous roster, right? So I think the thing is, I agree with Jacob here in the sense of Happy and his leadership and the way that the team, you know, they don't really progress anywhere. It was probably about 3 to 6 months ago, I was saying EnVyUs could be the best team in France, but it doesn't mean they're going to be a top 5 team in the world.
Sure.
It seems like they've dropped off a little bit more so than that. Even, you know, with Kiyoshima coming back in, he's got a lot of experience. He played at the top level. He played in FaZe. He's won a major before. The balance just doesn't seem there. And I actually, obviously last night I corrected myself, but I've watched the EnVyUs Academy play when Hadji was a part of it. Completely blanked. I thought they brought him in as the AWPer. He wasn't the AWPer in EnVyUs Academy. It was old boy Petite Skittles.
Yeah. Petite Skill.
Yeah, that's the guy. But so now who's the AWPer on this team? And we saw last night the people picking up the AWP is Happy, and then Kiyoshima. And these aren't people who are AWPers. They're not AWPers. They're people who are using it as a utility. That's fine. You don't have to have a star AWPer, but don't force the issue. And I don't think they're going to. Maybe they're finding their feet again.
Sort of like wasting the little potential you have on this team. You know, putting an AWP on Kiyoshima is not optimal at all. So it's just a team that is in a rough period right now. And in terms of, as you said, roles, it's just not mixing up.
Yeah, and quite the contrary as well. Space Soldiers. Now, first things first, before I voice my opinion, because it does seem to be quite a positive one. I don't want to kind of affect you too much, but what's your read on Space Soldiers recently, Jacob? Because their results have been better. They've been finding their feet offline. There's been a growth.
They start to remind me a little bit about SK when we first saw them coming through the scene. Back in Katowice, I remember playing a major qualifier against them, and we expected to go in there and just beat them, and we ended up losing 16-3, and we were like, where the hell did they come from? And it's sort of like the same feeling Space Soldiers give you right now. As for the team, there's a lot of potential on this team. Shantaris, we talked about him, he's one of the best players in the world, I'd say, at least individual-wise. He needs to show it on the big stage, obviously. He needs to be consistent. Calix as well on the screen right now, he's so talented. I get the chance to play against him in FPL as well, and he's a beast, basically. So there's nothing to be doubted about in terms of the skill and potential on this team. They need to figure out the roles, they need to get the experience, and this is just one of those teams where it takes time for them to grow into a super team, I feel.
You have to learn with the experience, right? And playing on these big stages, that's one of the hardest things to get experience on, because you need to qualify to get there. Sure. Now, they've definitely ramped up in getting to that point, and they're getting to do it more and more. And as that experience comes, as they're able to, you know, work those things out, they're going to look like hot prospects even more so. Yesterday, I said that Xantares and Calix were ranked 2 and 3 in the Pro League stats for the season so far. Since yesterday's matches, Xantares is now ranked #1, has overtaken Simple, who is now in that second slot.
Jesus, he's overtaken Simple?
Yeah, who has just been beasting it time and time again. So just a quick thing for everybody playing at home. The reason that there are so many more frags on the side of Space Soldiers here as opposed to that of EnVyUs is because EnVyUs haven't played a lot of games yet.
I'm sorry, though. Look how many games Space Soldiers have played, and he's still averaging comfortably over 180
It's quite nice.
It's absolutely insane. Like, it is unseen and on this level, basically.
That's very, very hard to do.
It's like a player who has the talent to become the best player in the world. It's safe to say, and as you said, like, it's all about experience, all about gaining that trust from the team, gaining that trust in yourself, and be able to produce on the big stages.
Something I admire as well, while on the topic of Xantares, is the fact that there is absolutely zero doubt in my mind he's had other team offers, international team offers.
Sure.
I mean, when you're a prospect like him, there's the chance that someone will be like, it doesn't matter about your English, like, let's nurture you, here's a big number on a piece of paper.
Sure.
Sign on the dotted line.
Well, here's the thing, right? I always played with Australian teams, right? And I always took a lot of pride in playing and representing my country as a whole.
As an underrepresented nation
Exactly,
as well.
And Turkey is definitely one of those. And Jacob is probably the perfect person here. He played for Danish rosters, and then he went and played for a North American one, and I'm sure you probably put a lot more in... Wow. maybe subconsciously a lot more investment into the Danish squad as what you probably would have to that North American one. You feel more like a mercenary, right? When you're playing for and it's not your culture. There's all those little details about it there. So, like for Xantares, with those offers, sure, you know, if it was like a phase, hell yeah, sign me up. But if it was like one, you know, like maybe like a Hellraisers or something, may as well stay with your team on a similar level and grow up for your country, because right now they are the face of Turkish Counter-Strike, and that's something to be proud of.
Also give you an idea of how much Xantares believes in this roster. You know, they themselves, you know, have a better idea and understanding of how good they actually are when they practice, when they talk about the problems, how the team in itself works around, you know. So he must be believing in this team is the right team for him. And, you know, as you said, you know, of course, if FaZe comes knocking on your door with a big number, you go there, and there's no doubt about that. Yeah. But if it is Hellraisers, if it is some tier 2 team in that sense, like there's no reason to go, because Xantares and Space Shoulders have the opportunity and the potential to be one of the best teams in the world by time.
Yeah, and I mean, when you do look at their roster, not only is it impressive that they are succeeding, it's also impressive that they've stuck together as a 5. Like, it's
There's been a few little changes.
Sure. But I mean, the core of Major, you know, Xantares and Calix, they've been around. Was Calix the newer addition?
No, Major was probably one of the newer, like, because he's a traditionally he played in French rosters, right?
Because he's been around for forever.
Yeah, he's a 1.6 player. I remember watching him back in the day. Him and Sixer used to be in the same team at Sahara.
God, yeah, I remember
flashbacks of Tuscan.
Joe Miller with his boobs out. Had Sahara all over his chest.
But you have to keep all your clothes on broadcast.
Yes, otherwise you'll get shouted at.
Yeah, you don't want to get shouted at. You'd have to explain.
Yeah.
You don't want to explain anything.
Absolutely not.
No explanations needed. But this roster right now, when we've seen them really come together here, it looks more like a solid roster, right? Obviously, like I said, there's been some changes, and there's still potentially room for changes because we have Woxic, who's Turkish, and he plays for Hellraisers, right? Yeah. So if they ever want to maybe change the AWPA or look at something like that, he could be a name that the Space Soldiers could be having with a little bit of a mix-up, Alex.
I think that's the plan. I mean, definitely. But they have managed to keep this roster relatively consistent, and the results, I mean, I'm just looking at the stats from Xantares. That's something that we'll be talking about, I'm sure, more as we get into this one. But for now, Train. Let's just get a little bit of a kind of a touch on our first map. We're going into Train, and my first question has to be, we've seen Envy play it a lot. It must be a map they're comfortable on. Where's the problem? Like, you don't have a dedicated AWPA. Why are you going into Train?
That's a great question.
Answer that one.
That's a really good question. Now, a map like Train, also on the T side, you need good set executes and opening moves to be able to find space and go from it. You can't just do a 4-1 with happy lurking like you can on other maps.
Just
like
walking around Ivy.
Yeah, man. So you need to actually have a couple of things in your arsenal. One thing which EnVyUs do really well is when they do hit that inner bomb site, they send the tank out high ramp. And I've never seen a player just maul that high ramp. He just pushes it along. He's like, you want to come out connector? You were dead. You were dead. Yeah. That's one thing to look out for, right? That's one positive that EnVyUs have on the T side of Train. And
in terms of things to look out for, Jacob, I ask you now, a player to watch from Space Soldiers. A lot of viewers may not be aware of who to look at, and don't you take that easy answer.
I mean, Xantares would be obvious, but Calix is definitely just as good. I feel that the guy is a guy with the same potential as Xantares. Sure. He's just a little bit more new to the scene in that sense. He's definitely a raw, good aimer, and he produces great results at all times. And as you said, you know, the thing about EnVyUs, they're very one-dimensional in that way. If we don't see RPK going out that upper inside, you know, they don't have anything else to fall back on. And when you face Xantares, when you face Calix, when you face Major even, who's sometimes picking up the AWP and doing a great job, then I don't see where this is going to go in favor of EnVyUs.
Okay, eyes on Calix and his raw aim. We'll introduce your casters now as we continue to mix things up. Thank you so much, Chad and Jacob. Hi, Halvor Vendetta Gullestol, Lauren Pansy Scott. We're going to be our resident casters for our first one. We're all getting a little upset about.
You okay then?
Yeah, no.
What did you see?
Just so you know, I love your desktop background. You've done some serious work. They've actually set their notes as their desktop wallpaper, so they're always looking at their research. But basically, we're just talking about how exciting the prospect of Space Soldiers, perhaps even breaking into the Pro League finals, and you know, by the end of 2018, we're talking top 5.
Yeah, honestly, the way they're looking right now and in the standings, I'd say that together with Na'Vi, obviously, depending on what goes on there.
Mad, isn't it?
They might be the team that actually is best suited to get a Pro League spot early on.
Everyone's just being nice about them because they've seen what happens to Instagram comments if you're not. So, I mean, you know, people are being real friendly, but no, they are incredibly talented. Them and SK.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, we just, you know, we play the crowd, but
we love
genuinely, they are a very talented team. Speaking of talent, though, Hadji yesterday did really, really well for himself. He's someone to keep your eyes on, and Happy already starting things off very well. Hadji coming in from the academy side from EnVyUs, and he did a good showing yesterday. But you know, outside of that, the other showings we saw, the fact that Space Soldiers managed to play up against AGO as well, and AGO were still in China. Yeah. So 300 ping games. They were fun.
Yeah, no, lots of fun there for those of you who didn't get to catch that. There's tons of stuff to go down memory lane with. But definitely so. Who would you favor going into this matchup just from the get-go? Space Shoulders just right. No no redeeming qualities on the EnVyUs side? Or
There are. The ones yesterday we saw Hadji being great. I think that was the main thing. Him and Keo were playing a really good game. I think that's probably the redeeming qualities. But beyond that, Space Soldiers should have this every day of the week right there.
Yeah.
The more versed side, we've seen that EnVy was struggling with some travel issues coming back in. I think it was Keo who tweeted that out. But overall, Space Soldiers have been playing just good, solid CS. You know what I mean? Like, you felt that tournament out in China was meant to be that big one for them, the headliner, but wasn't to be. But that's beyond the point, as we are now into round 2. Of course, the first one did go EnVy's way. The purchases come through. No surprises. Nothing really turning heads. On the other side, the CZs, which are just mini rifles these days.
what a weapon that is.
That's beautiful, isn't it, right?
Yeah, just love to see it. On the side of Space Shoulders, we have not too much picked up, obviously, outside of the pistols, as mentioned. A couple of grenades on engine side. 2 flashes and a smoke, and this is probably just going to be play to see if they can find an opening pick and maybe get a bomb plant down. Obviously, though, we're not seeing too much aggression coming out from the side of EnVy, not willing to really go up close. It's understandable as well. We see that being just a constant issue, really, for teams of any caliber, dealing with these anti-ecos. Getting a bit impatient, maybe at times, pushing too far forward, getting caught out, and just within a span of 2-3 seconds, your entire round is on its head.
As you highlighted, looking for those picks and ideally a bomb plant. B is always the look to. RPK had a bit of a quiet game last time, especially on train, but RPK can also be a pivotal player. He can be a game changer, so don't write him off. Major, kind of irrelevant to this hit. He is just working up Ivy. He'll be trying to keep their attention there, maybe go on a bit of alert. We should be watching the B side of things, as that's where the hit's going to come in. Happy's already got himself over here. The flash is good. He actually catches him pretty well, and RPK then plays in. Time is ticking, and Zentaris is the only one to really make damage count. Bomb plant might just be in time. It was either on the last second or a second too late. No, it was EnVy's round in the end, even though the bomb did show that it was planted.
Yeah. That is a bit of an awkward situation. One of the things that you definitely don't want to do on your anti-eco or your eco rounds is obviously run out of time on the B side. Zendara's just going to be stuck with $750, and that's obviously going to affect them going into that 4th round where they'd like to buy up, and Zentaris is not really going to have too much to show for. So not the optimal start for Space Shoulders.
Gone for the deagle.
Yeah.
Might as well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Point. Now you're just fully committed.
Yeah.
He knows he's not going to be able to get anything worthwhile for the first buy round. But then again, Zentaris is the kind of player who can pull it off with a little Happy. Knows that there's eco frags down, so in an aggressive stance gets taken out by Paz. And trying to get more here, RPK finds Paz, but it's going to get taken out by Engine. So a couple of frags traded equally here. That's always a benefit for the T side. That said, though, no armor to speak of, only an MP9 picked up. Still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, these two on Ivy should have been trying to maybe make some attention turn, but the bomb's been found. It's all been noted. Scream claiming the kill there does mean at least the bomb is under wraps, and these two are kind of going to find it hard to be relevant to this round. Zentaris is the one who could maybe do the damage as he has the deagle, and distance will be the element that will probably hinder them with that Glock. Hadji playing out of pop. Not having a big game yet. Zentaris, as highlighted, being the one to be able to do the damage. Connects with the deagle. We're down to a 2v2. It's not too scary just yet because the bomb is very much secured by EnVy, but if they get one more kill, then things can spiral. Good utility still on Keo, still sitting perfectly pretty for EnVyUs. Calyx and Zentaris still looking for opportunities. Scream playing by the boxes, and Keo over by the ramp. They need some big shots, and Scream's going to find his 2 kills coming off the back, and that is it. Space Soldiers make it pretty uncomfortable for EnVyUs. That's only put them on notice. But at this point, you're going to be looking at getting the rounds on the board. First 3 rounds do go to EnVy, not too surprising after the pistol, but Space Soldiers certainly being a threat.
Definitely so, and now we're going to see the aftermath of not being able to plant in that second round. Zentaris still rocking that deagle, does have plenty of utility, I guess, so that is a bit of a silver lining for them. No ops in play. Not going to see Engine or Major bust that out right off the bat. And for now, just standard default setup coming out from Space Soldiers, just making sure they're not getting rushed down by an aggressive CT side. See, holding off from Ivy. Zentaris just taking duels initially from A-main as well. Not really going to get too much for it. Hadji putting a lot of damage onto Zentaris, actually. We're going to see the more and more common double drop into pop. Obviously, with how the mechanics work in CSGO, the guy on top is just, according to the game, just always standing on solid ground. So game doesn't act. Yeah. Well, it works in real life as well. If you want to try it out with a friend.
Just dropped down. But yeah, we're seeing Kyo with the AWP. Again, this is the weird thing about the EnVyUs roster. It's like, there is no Daddy AWP, I guess. Like, Happy used to take the AWP off of Kenny S occasionally, which is always a fun circumstance to see. But I'm wondering if, who's going to be the consistent one here.
It's weird, right? With Happy, happily taking it on himself to actually bring out an AWP when you're on the same team as Kenny, actually strayed more and more away from it when Sixer came into the team, and now obviously with Kyo here as well, you would have imagined that Happy was your first suspect. Nonetheless, Kyo seems to be able to get the job done, and so is Hadji, playing that close-up bomb train, not really allowing Space Soldiers to get anywhere near that yard area, and a flawless round from EnVyUs. Great start.
Yeah, good for their money as well, because those rounds were close leading up to this. Even though they had 3 on the board, they weren't exactly those clear cut. Scream was doing okay for himself, but the others had been pressured and guns taken away and reinvestments required. Hadji, I'm starting to become a bit of a fan of this guy. Seeing young talent come through and actually performing quite well. He had a tough time dealing with Simple yesterday, obviously because it's Simple.
Most
Simple
people
hit,
do, yeah.
I think it was like mid-air AWP shot. The things that Simple does, you're just like, cool, I can't do anything about this. So that happened a couple of times, but beyond that, he had a fantastic matchup. Didn't win it out in the end, but that's beyond the point. He had a good showing. So I hope to see more from him in that sort of aspect. I think it's always fun to see new players come through. But on towards the Space Soldiers side, they're threatening with these Deagles. There is no 2 ways to put it. You can see the bait there. I wonder if they could do the double stack again. Hadji would have to deal with that if they do. However, CT side aggression, they're getting information. You can see Hadji pushed up. He's going to surely hear some of these steps. They're not being particularly subtle, so they've already placed 2 players towards B. But that's what we're talking about, the Deagles being deadly, and his Calyx already found 1. The second can't follow just yet. RPK is under pressure, though, trying to keep them contained, trying to lock them down, but eventually he will fall. It's a 3v3. Quick rotations are plenty. Scream's found a big kill there. Taking out Major, the bomb basically goes down. There's nothing more to be done. Scream is in just fine form, it seems. He's been very much integral in denying a lot of these rounds and the plants coming through and keeping them at bay. As Engine now left in the 1v3, Hadji's there in the end, and it's those 2 to really do the damage. Good work from RPK as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Probably could have seen Space Soldiers in a different round. Maybe have a bit more success actually being able to remove RPK sooner, as soon as Happy goes down there from the 1 dig of Calyx. But yeah, Team Envy managed to hold on, and obviously, as you mentioned, the pick on the bomb there as it runs down lower pretty much kills the round entirely. Now, still no AWP in play for Space Soldiers, and we talked about not necessarily having a dedicated AWPer. That's a similar case for Space Soldiers as well. Engine will pick it up quite a bit, but we've seen Major also dabble with it from time to time, but they don't necessarily have that, the Voxic, I guess.
The go-to guy, right?
Exactly, that you can kind of rely on. The guy you would actually just force up with because he has a, glass cannon off. That can be a challenge at times.
We've got the double AWP, so Kyo and Happy, let's see what we got. Major already trying to find the fight towards Ivy. No one's really there, they've kind of backed away from it. Kyo's fallen back to old bomb train. I'm not sure where Happy went on this. He actually fell back almost to spawn. But aggression coming out from Scream. This is good news for EnVyUs fans. Information being passed through and a lot of map control falling into the hands of the CT side. But you can see Space Soldiers have their minds set towards here. Smoke goes in towards the back side of things. Molotov to the right. And Scream does take the head off of Calyx. Good strike to begin with. The bomb's still, of course, into play. Space Soldiers haven't lost that one yet. Flash goes out. Zentaris, good flash there. Kyo is completely blind. Hadji is now going to be called upon to deal with this race. Spots the gun barrel, he takes the kill. The flash was a little late, but he still manages to come through. Major, up to the fight, no. Hadji, there again, this guy is being, the immovable object. Down to Engine and Paz to try and recover this round. It's down to 30 seconds. Good work from Paz and Major. Combining, great work from Engine, should I say, here. Finding Scream, it's just Happy now in the 1v2. Finding Engine, but is there another one to follow?
It does have the backline position covered up. Knows that the bomb was dropped as well, but it's going to give up his position, not hold on to the bomb, allow Paz to get a bomb plant here. That's going to be the first in quite some time for Space Soldiers. Now, low HP. Happy already spotted him out as well. Oh, but Paz. Lovely little flick shot there to adjust for Happy's oncoming aggression. First round on the board for Space Soldiers. Definitely not a round that you would have expected Space Soldiers to kind of rally back into. And you're doing a pretty good job there of actually playing aggressive. We saw that in the previous round. They've changed up how they actually play aggressive on the CT side as well, over towards Yard. You had Hadji playing inside of Pop Dog to start things off on a couple of buy rounds. Now Scream inside of A main. And it felt like for the better part, Space Soldiers just weren't allowed to see anything of Yard at all.
Well, why do I feel this is going to be a...
This is just new strategies.
We have 2 engines.
Yeah.
We have 4 players.
2 is better than 1.
But why?
Well, Calyx has... no, it's not Calyx. It is Major, I think.
Yeah.
Just decided to take a bit of a break. A bit of a breather.
This upsets me.
It was a bit of an exciting round we just had. Allow yourself to think things through and really ponder about what just went down.
Wait, is it 3? Wait, how many games are there today? Because I thought this was the 2 and 2. Am I being trolled here? 'Cause I see graphics of 3.
Yeah. We've got Na'Vi LDLC coming up after this, and then there's a hot match of the week in Fnatic North to look forward to. For right now, bit of a technical pause as we try to get Major back on the server. Obviously for Space Soldiers, a bit of a shame for that to happen once they finally get one on the board. A bit of a struggle to do so as well.
Production. How many North American games do we have as well? Because I'm seeing a lot.
Well,
that's gonna.
To my knowledge,
okay.
there's only 2 matchups here.
I think there's some tomfoolery here.
Tomfoolery.
Speaking of Tom, how are we feeling on those games, huh? How many North American games? I'm sure they did the schedule. I was running a little late. So, I mean, I made it there eventually. But we are obviously just waiting for players to rejoin, waiting for Major to get back through. So, curious as to what the game plan is. Hey, Tom, I assume you can hear me. How many games do we have today? But overall, we do seem to have Major back on board, so that's the main thing. We'll need to get the money sorted, I guess, and everything else. So Match Medic will be in effect, but other than... Oh.
A bit of an extra player there.
Yeah.
Malik joining in the fray as well.
Come on, coach. Get on out.
We have to consider the fact that Major did have, or does have a pretty storied past with French CS teams, so maybe Malik thought, we're good friends. I can play for Space Soldiers if need be. Not going to be required, though. And away we go. Now, obviously, Space Soldiers looking to not get reset here. Worst case scenario, kind of getting a bomb plant down if they were to lose the round. But haven't really seen too much convincing play out of their T side up till this point, simply because, well, EnVy have been doing a really good job of shutting down any sort of planned attacks from the side of Space Soldiers before they even come into fruition. Hedgie once again playing up close here by Blue Train. There are definitely possibilities or opportunities for Space Soldiers to kind of get rid of these close spots, obviously with Molotovs and whatnot. Remains to be seen if kind of get that to come through as the game fans on, because Hedgie's going to take obviously all the real estate he's given. Sandwich Molotov coming out.
Still finding Paz. That's not bad work at all. I thought that was going to be 2 players down for EnVy pretty quickly. You saw Scream and RPK both getting pretty pressured. Engine does instantly remove RPK as he tried to push up towards B, and this could be just the springboard. This looks like the go point. Happy's there pretty quick, but they could have been there just before him. They did hold off for a second or two, get people into position. It's only 2 players working their way forward. The third's coming over. That's going to be Major. Good flash comes out. Happy finds Xantares. So we're down to 2 players now for Space Soldiers. They need some big impact to happen, and they don't have much room to make it. Engine desperately looking for a player to, peek out, give him a chance here, but he's surrounded kind of on all fronts, and really Major's not going to be trying to help out too quickly. No, there it is. Shut down in the end. And EnVy, this is a very convincing CT side so far. Space Soldiers yet to really make that big impression here.
Yeah, they don't really seem to have any sort of idea how to deal with the aggression coming out from EnVyUs there. You see they find step 1, I guess, to a solution with trying to molly out Haji from the Blue Train position by Sandwich, but as they do that, they kind of neglect the fact that, well, EnVyUs have been playing aggressive in Pop as well, and that allows for Scream to find the opening frag of the round. And even when they get towards that inner bomb site and actually remove RPK initially, they don't actually move together. They very staggered in the way they push inner. Engine, instead of walking through the smoke as soon as Xantares goes down, just kind of gets stuck behind there and doesn't really serve a purpose. Definitely need see some more conviction coming out of Space Soldiers if this is to work out for them.
And they're so very capable. That's the thing. You watch these guys, it does feel like sometimes you'll see Space Soldiers looking like they could push any tier 1 team at any point. Yeah. And then other times it's like, oh, that's when they fall off. And I don't know what the consistency factor is or what their kind of win conditions are, but when they're good, they are so damn good. So I hope we get to see that. It might not be now. This might not be the moment for it to happen, but beyond that point, they are going to go for that B hit, and already Calyx strikes well towards RPK. It's Happy to fall down next. This is what we mean. When that power is there, these guys are very hard to handle. And they've taken over this B site. They haven't pushed up just yet. They're still kind of locked in by the bomb train. But you can see the flank coming out from Major as well. This is a really good sign for them. That'll cut off any kind of retake coming in from EnVy. It makes it very uncomfortable for them. Hadji, Scream, and Keo going to maybe consider when do we try and keep our guns, when does that become the next opportunity, turning the high flash. You can see Scream working his way forward, but it's Major. Again, he's the man to keep in the back of your mind. He's working his way around. CZ, sure, but he's in the perfect position to make the damage count. And him and Calix, wonderful round there from them.
Yeah, very fitting time to, you bring up the fact that when Space Shoulders hit their stride, they do look absolutely amazing. In that round, it's pretty much pistols and the 1 AK on Calix, and that's all you need. You didn't really need any excessive amounts of utility to actually get in towards that inner bomb site. As long as they push with conviction towards that inner bomb site, as soon as they get the first pick, it becomes a really tough job for EnVyUs. It's actually going to be interesting to see whether or not Envy kind of decide to do a couple of cheat rotations in that sense and actually just play with 2 people on the inner bomb site going forward. But for now, it's an eco round, and you wouldn't kind of expect that to be the case considering how dominant Envy have looked. But you mentioned it, Space Shoulders were finding frags here and there, the budget on the French side. Calix once again finding an opening frag here. Just RPK down and Pop Dog. Envy is just sifting new players in towards that area. Every round that goes by. Now it's Keo's turn.
Into the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
No, he's got a nice little P250, so it's fine. CZ with Hadji. Overall, those Space Soldiers liking this B site. Why not? Happy is down below though, lurking in the depths. He could be. The timing on that could have been horrible for either side, but for now it's really well contained. This is good for the Space Soldiers. They're not being careless. They're being very smart in approach. They don't want to give anything up, and they don't. Really nicely done from Space Soldiers in the end, getting 5 alive as well, which is good for them. Keep their money up. And getting rounds on the board, that's where you get to the point where it's like, okay, we're like 6 rounds down. Yeah. We just kind of need rounds on the board at this point. So they've done just that, though. 6-3 is the current scoreline, of course. Going into the next round, we do have a really nice purchase sticking in the hands of Space Soldiers, now just supplemented with full utility. On the other side, far from perfect. 2 flashes and a nade, but they have the weaponry. So, I mean, they don't have any utility. They don't have a defuse kit. They don't even have the full armor set, which, debatably needed anyway. But still, they're going to try and make a play, try and make something happen to make up for the fact they don't have utility.
That's smart. Very heads up from Envy, but you can see... Oh, well, I was about to say, Space Shoulders look prepared for it, but Major unscopes at just the wrong moment. But what does it matter? Centaurus with 3 quick kills. But RPK is there to respond as well, but considering how it all started out, this is still definitely doable for Calix.
He was the one having the great rounds just a couple of moments ago. He was one of the headliners. So keep eyes on him. Let's see what he can do in this one. 1v2. So you've got Happy on the AWP. You've got RPK, of course, the one who's containing that threat because that looked like it was all going away. Xantares just turns up and it's like, all right, well, this is going to get painful. Now, Calix does have utility to play with as well, which is nice. 0 information, though, really, as to where they are now. It's been too long since they'd last kind of had this exchange, but RPK's not really backed away. Now, Calix can pick where he wants to go.
Yeah.
He needs to try and find out the best avenue where can he, get safe after plant position. What's the game plan? It looks like he's heading for B. I mean, he doesn't know they're both there still. He has no clue this is the case. So he's just, I guess, a safe bet.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really liking what EnVyUs are doing. Even though they've given up the bomb, they don't really seem interested in it. They're just banking on the fact that they have the man advantage. Well, I say that.
What?
Man advantage is gone.
Calix? Are you serious? Okay, so now he's put out Happy. As the RPK was the one who got the 2 kills towards B, I think he's going to try and guess out that he's over there too. So he switched it up. He's going to go for a play on this one. RPK quickly assesses the situation as well. Good use of the Molotov, but RPK's out. He's up for the fight and he wins it. I believed in Calix, and that first shot he hit on Happy was just filthy. So damn good. This is Xantares again. It was looking like an EnVyUs round. Those big kills coming through, the stack coming out for Xantares. What composure under pressure, but instantly turned back around. But again, Envy, their money, I'm curious where it sits because these rounds have been close, they've been back and forth. So I think even though, yes, they did win the round, they're probably in a worse position monetary-wise than Space Soldiers will be, who have the full buy, excluding the AWP. And obviously on the other side, you've got 2 SMGs, a FAMAS, and 2 rifles.
Yeah, lesser firepower in this time on Envy, and we'll getting caught out as well with the aggressive push towards Ivy. Scream's going to be able to make do of it for now, but Calix is there to trade as well. So this time opting for lesser firepower, but more utility. It doesn't really pan out. Xantares made his way out into Ivy as well, now into yard. And obviously that is a pretty big tell when you see 2 people playing aggressively in Ivy. It's pretty tough for Envy, a team that actually likes playing 2 people towards that inner bomb side as well to keep all of yard covered. Going back and forth, and eventually Engine is going to close RPK out. And this is obviously Nightmare Street this is Elm Street for EnVyUs right now. No money in the bank. are going to have to eco, and Space Soldiers still just not really that affected, considering they were able to bring a round right back. I'm going to be curious to see whether or not Space Soldiers decide to keep their focus on that inner bomb site like we saw to start off the game. Haven't really had too much success at Yard, honestly, outside of that last eco round. And even then, that's not really something you can build off of going into buy rounds. For now, though, 3 men moving towards Ivy. And speaking of moving, 2 EnVyUs players already inside of aiming. Engine is keeping tabs on the area, though. But obviously, this is giving a bit of information for EnVyUs to work with.
Edge pushed up. Could make it very uncomfortable for Space Soldiers, but they seem aware, which is good. Going through the plethora of utility that they have, but the problem is he's being kind of surrounded here. He's been spotted out as well now, and he knows it. Tries to make something happen, but good work from Space Soldiers. Again, they're very meticulous in approach. They don't seem to get caught out much in the stack, just simply doesn't really work out for Envy. Put 4 players towards B. Major's in a great position to receive them. 1 player, 2, no, too far. Envy had a lot of players coming back in through spawn, so again, makes it very uncomfortable for 1 player to handle, but Happy gets himself a rifle. And curious if he's going to drop it off to someone to arm them up further. No. And yeah, RPK already gets taken down by Xantares. They're locked out here. It might be just time to keep the guns.
Yeah, Scream especially, obviously having that head kev as well. No reason to throw that away, and Happy picking up an AK. Scavenges that on the inner bomb site. For Space Soldiers, I mean, obviously not necessarily aware of the situation, the fact that Scream has bought up with armor. They can assume that Happy has an AK, but considering the fact that they know the economic state of Envy, not really worthwhile going for a wild goose hunt. Yeah, just going to get their 5th round on the board. So they're definitely getting back into this. It was looking pretty rough to start things off. They weren't getting anything done, in all honesty. But as you said, they are a meticulous team, and they've kind of turned that way ever since Major made his entry to the team. He definitely brought a completely new identity to the Turkish squad, which is cool to see. And I think that's a big part of why we're seeing more consistent success from Space Soldiers as well. They're not just like tearing apart tier 2, tier 3 online cups and that kind of stuff. They're actually making it to events and doing well for themselves there.
It's really nice to see, because like I think this is the thing. Like we always were talking about, oh, how talented some of these players individually were, but individual talent doesn't always equate to like getting big results or becoming like a great player towards the end. So when everyone's, Xantares this, Xantares that, it was like, okay, yeah, but where's the results to back it up? Let's see that. So good to now see like Space Soldiers actually getting so many good results, really pushing the higher end of the scene. They've proven that they are certainly more than just a fluke, a bit of a flash in the pan. They are a very good side. So we'll see if that can continue. At the moment, good guess if they actually go for this B hit quite quick. I don't know if they will. They're not in any hurry. They have everything they need. They've got full utility to play with. They can play it late if they fancy. Absolutely zero rush on this. That Molotov is very keen.
They've been practicing some nades here.
You love to see it.
Yeah.
That's a really nice way to take up.
And you could tell, like, they've been throwing out mollies. You saw it in the previous anti-eco as well. The fact that they're just throwing mollies into A main. They've noticed that Envy have been playing aggressively on the city side, especially towards Yard. So why not use the utility and not run into a bit of a stack? But as we say that, Envy have gone from being 5 out in Yard to having 4 on the inner bomb site. And they do have an AK in the hands of Happy as well. The utility definitely going to play a big part here.
Should do. It is go time. The bomb has been left on the ramp though. So I wonder when they're going to call this off, because Scream and RPK are doing everything. And that's a disaster. It looked so good on paper coming out for Space Soldiers then, but it all fell to pieces. And to be honest, Envy weren't able to recover that many guns, but their money's in a good spot now. They're not too worried about that. But I mean, you got to feel there for Space Soldiers. They did kind of everything right until the hit came in.
Yeah.
And they just went in for it.
You're very right. The fact that they did use utility initially, and when the actual execute comes, they're just like, it'll be fine. Then ran into 4 Frenchies with ZZs and AKs. Kyo potentially looking to get aggressive here in Ivy. We haven't really seen too much action going on from the CT side there. They've been playing fairly passive, focusing more on A main and pop, the better part of it. But instead, Xantares is just going to be able to...
How's he gone away with that?
Yeah.
Just straight out?
It's a very bold peek as well, considering how aggressive Haji has been towards A main. Could have very easily gotten caught out, and now he gets spotted as well. He's in a rough spot here. Xantares smells blood in the water.
He's so good. Let's look at hunting him down. He's just so far ahead of what Haji wants to do. He just took control of that. absolute boss level play. 3v2 now, it's Zentaris going further forward. 3 kills already for him. And just RPK left standing, and he's kind of irrelevant to how this round is going to pan out in the next couple of seconds. Bomb to be planted, he can't deny that. And he knows that his moments are numbered here.
Yeah, and for EnVyUs, even though they did end up winning, you know, what was the second of 2 ecos, their money is not really in a stellar place. Happy does have a bit of cash to spare, same with Kiyoshima, but RPK, Haji, and Scream, not really too much to write home about. So for RPK, most logical approach here would be to try to hold on to this rifle going into the next round, which will be the final round of the first half. So obviously you want to have as many strings to play off of as possible. Right now, he's actually moving forward, which is interesting. Bit of a whip spray, and that's obviously going to allow for Major to pounce back as well. So a bit of a odd decision, I'd say, from RPK. Normally one you'd kind of have synonymous with actually just making very safe choices. Really the guy who kind of re-peeks into 4 people and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Happy, rather than dropping anything out, goes, I'm buying the AWP.
As you would.
As you do. Kyo had enough to buy the M4, but everyone else is on armor and upgraded pistol, be it CZ, be it a Deagle. On the other side, of course, a completely different picture. Perfect purchase. Did he see the foot? I'm pretty sure that's going to show on radar if you're not careful. But anyway, that aside, we're going to be seeing somewhat of a similar beginning, but a bit more aggression again from the CTs. I like CT-sided aggression on Trent. It's not an easy one. It takes a lot of coordination to try and work out. But Space Soldier's been handling it very nicely. 8-6, of course, the scoreline depicting that. And it looks like the 3, maybe 4 players going towards Ivy could make a big bit of a play here. And they've been having success on that area because no one's there right now.
Yeah, this is a bit of a deja vu from one of the previous rounds we saw. Again, heavy focus on A main and Pop. Kyo's going to lose the battle as well versus Antares, and that's just an avenue for Space Soldiers from the rest of the side to move out on. Calix as well finds Haji. Scream from this position. Sure, if somebody comes down Pop, he can do stuff, but it's not going to be the case. The entire Turkish team out in yard, gotten into afterplan positions already, and that makes this retake extremely hard for the French side.
Is there a black arrow at the bottom of the screen, or am I going mad?
There is.
Huh.
Curious if that is dead pixels or not.
I'm actually not sure. Like, I was thinking, like, that's not part of the UI. Yeah, we'll come back to that. Right now, though, they're going to try and attempt a retake. I doubt it's going to go so well. This fight plays alive.
3 people funneling through, and Zantara is finding everyone as well. So
yeah, he's having a game.
Yeah, cheeky 4K there for Zantaras. And we did see that, actually, yeah, in the previous round they went Ivy as well. Zantara's opening up everything.
Yeah. It must be nice having it. Oh, and now it's gone. What was that arrow? Is this... I don't understand.
New features.
Yeah, exactly. New feature. But no, it must be nice to have Zentaris in the team, right? Because you can always depend on him to have those individual moments, or at least the ability to crack open positions like that and do so well with it. He's a very, very talented player when it comes to that sort of aspect. So good to see, good recovery from Space Soldiers. It looked like Envy were going to just tear away with it. Their start was perfect. Yep. Ran through pretty well, obviously winning the first 3, and then it was quite close in those rounds, don't get me wrong, but more often than not, Envy were winning them out for the early foray into this matchup. But you can see right back at it, Space Soldiers definitely turned up. Zentaris towards the top, 139 ADR. That is lovely to see.
Jesus, yeah, a bit of a one-man army in that sense. But yeah, it's very true what you mentioned, the fact that it's such a big benefit to have a guy like him on the team. But even then, even though obviously it doesn't necessarily show all that well on the scoreboard, the one round that kind of got them back into the groove of things was the 1 AK round on Calix, where he gets 4K. And in the past, it was very much, you know, you do or die, you live or die by Zantaris and how he does on the side of Space Soldiers. But now, as you mentioned, over the course of the years, they have actually added, you know, more supporting players in that sense to actually have that not be the case. You can actually have Calix going off and playing the role of Zantaris in that sense. And same thing with Paz as well on occasions, which is really cool to see. And again, that helps a ton for Space Soldiers to actually have more consistency and actually be able to take it to these tier 1 teams at times. Well.
You know what? I love it when the stream goes down. That's my jam. That makes me very happy. But there's TV out there. You know, TV broadcast is very popular. Actually, it is. Like, I didn't realize there was a thread on Reddit I'm just talking because it's the halftime.
Yeah.
But there's a thread on Reddit how many like Scandinavian, I guess, based or maybe I guess mostly Danish people, but I think it's still in like Sweden and such, so on. How many people actually watch it on TV? They watch Pro League on TV. So
Really?
they already pay for the football thing, so I think it's like
Oh yeah,
included
do you get the
into that.
license for it? Yeah.
Right, and then they were just like, oh, we can watch it on here now. That's really
Bit of
cool.
cheeky Champions League and then follow it up with Pro League after.
Why not?
Not a bad night.
That's implying people watch the North American side of the show, Halvor. Come on now, you're on.
I mean-
you're with Europe now. Yeah?
We're having a great time over in NA.
Were you?
Yeah, no.
Jason looked like he was ready to just, you know.
Jason's just looked like that for some time though.
Yeah, that is true. It's not like a recent adjustment. But
We're
no,
keeping spirits high.
of course. What time have you generally been finishing?
I mean, we've been all over the place. We've been everywhere from the range of 4 o'clock to about 8 o'clock. So
Ooh.
you know, we're keeping
Let's
it
hope
fresh.
not for the 8.
Yeah, no, that's yesterday we had a pool actually as to when would we be done, when would we be out of the
Who
office.
was the most accurate and with what guess?
I I think everyone was just horribly wrong because we had a really good start to the show. Everyone
yeah,
was
the
flying
quick
off.
game.
Yeah, everyone's just like, we'll be out of here by 4. It's gonna be
Right.
lovely, and then things happened, and I think we were back at the hotel about 5:45.
Oh, that's very upsetting.
Yeah, no, so nobody won that day.
No one wins.
Everyone took a big fat L.
Yeah, that's a rough one. But no, I'm curious. So if you guys are wondering why I'm discussing this and why we're discussing it, it's because we're going to be doing the double. We're doing
Doing
both.
it all.
Yeah, EU and NA. I thought we only had 4 games in EU. That was not true. We have 3. So that's 6 matches. Maths, very tricky. And then we should have 2 NA games. So that's 10. So that's 10 hours of talking.
You're really working the live math here.
I know, it's a dangerous game. So 10 hours of talking. I mean, ooh, it's a tricky one. I talk a lot, don't get me wrong. I think people have realized that by now. Halvor's, in the same boat. But 10 hours is going to be
I feel
real
like the
spicy.
content of what we're saying at around like hour 8 to 10 is going to be of varying
the best,
quality.
The
yeah.
best. Probably the highest peak any of us will ever reach.
That's where like the prime memes come out.
Oh yeah.
when we do our
so
best work.
if you'd like to just hear us mentally fall to pieces, stay tuned. We will be slowly but surely degrading as the night goes on, but really increasing in fun. So,
absolutely.
And I think Alex is going to debut some casting. He's coming out
I'm
with
looking
some
forward
casting.
to that. Like, who's going to blow his mind this time around?
There's always someone.
Always someone.
Why is it still halftime? What are you doing?
They're just all getting prepared for that second half. Matters a lot to them, obviously. Envy trying to avoid relegation here, right?
Oh yeah.
Space Soldiers trying to nab that top 6 spot.
I was really impressed with, I think I saw it yesterday when I saw the standings at that point for Europe. Heroic is still within the top 6. Not like super comfortably. I think they're in that like 6th position, but
Is that off of the fact that they've played just a ton more games than everyone else? Because
but
I feel
they've also
every
had
time
a
I've seen it,
stand-in, but they've been winning like 1 map and losing 1.
Oh,
They've
yeah,
been, like
splitting
1-0.
series, yeah.
But they've been doing so good, like considering they have lost out on Yugi for like a couple of the matches now.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row actually without Yugi, who is, I think, without a shadow of a doubt, the best player on that side.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's really good to see them still doing quite well for themselves.
Yeah.
Do we know why we are taking forever on a halftime? I'm gonna put my headset on. Hello. And we're gonna
Get some interaction with the outside world. I do think we are resuming
we're
rather shortly.
We're just waiting for that beautiful stream to
There
get
we
right
have
back
it.
into it. But you know what, you TV people, you're still there,
In it with us.
in it to win it.
All enjoying some overview shots of train. So, okay, I guess to keep it somewhat related to the game, what do you expect from the second half of it? Is this going to be where Space Soldiers just kind of make their mark and close out EnVyUs? Because
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Halvor, because it's online CS, so you'll see
all the rounds.
Exactly, all the rounds. So that means that Space Soldiers will probably win the pistol.
Yeah.
They'll do that. They'll get 3, and then Envy will decide, you know what? Yeah, we're back in it to win it. So again, it'll be the most extended series you can possibly get.
Maybe some bonus rounds in there as well.
Bonus rounds are plenty. All right, we are into it. Hadji trading out, as Paz did find RPK earlier. And what a shot! This guy's like an assassin. The speed on the guy.
Yeah, I was about to
Power
say,
and the momentum.
it does feel like he's playing on fast forward.
Can someone check if his PC is somehow sped up to some incredible degree? But him and the boys do it. So thus far, it is going as
The
predicted.
prophecy has foretold.
Yep.
That remains to be seen if the ZZ is actually stronger than the power of the universe.
That is true.
Wouldn't surprise me, but let's see. Actually not going to opt for full ZZ. There's a lot of Deagles coming out on the side of EnVyUs. Not a bad choice either, obviously, but Kyo's going to be the only one who stays true to the one true pistol.
Yeah, Can we just follow Kio's perspective? Just because, you know, he's got the most OP gun currently purchased. Nice.
There you go. He's also leading the charge. Good captain in that sense.
Yeah, look at him go.
He's going to be like, you guys, take the shot for me. I'll run in and
I'll
clear
run in
everything
and
out.
spray everyone down. Don't worry, he's going to get 3 kills. Here he goes. Winding up, spots one. Ah, probably some RNG there. Unfortunate. Xantares does eventually find Happy. I'm just messing around. Obviously, the CZ is incredibly powerful, though. And 2 players on the back of Ivy, and it makes it very hard for any of the Envy side.
Curious thing is, what is the end game for EnVyUs right now, seeing how the bomb is dropped in T-spawn still? They seem fairly committed, at least Hadji obviously over towards the B bomb site. He's going to be looking for an opening frag, maybe for some rotations, but the rest of EnVyUs seem pretty committed to Ivy as well, so was there really any end game to this?
Well, this is it. You've just been mind-gamed, right? Hadji is a genius. He's going to go as far as he can, right, down towards spawn. And he's going to be like, all right, Scream, bring that bomb up. But be careful of Pop, because, you know what, I'm not really there. And the problem now becomes that, yeah, they've read that situation too. So Hadji...
But at this point, he's no fault of him.
Done well. No.
Yeah, exactly. This is Scream's mess up.
Exactly.
Like, Hadji's like, I cleared it out. If you just came when I told you to, everything would have been fine, would have had a bomb plant, after plant position, easy peasy. Now he has to venture out into dangerous territory.
He was having such a good time. He'd done such good work.
Doesn't pan out.
No, but at this point, of course, there shouldn't be too many investments. Maybe P250, a flash, or something very light for either Hadji or RPK. Everyone else from the T side should not be purchasing. And Space Soldiers, it should be free farm time. Calyx and Paz, go make some money. Put those SMGs out there. And do something. Make it work.
Yeah.
Those jackets on the T side look kind of warm.
They do.
They got that like fur lining.
Playing like Ice World, and well, Xantares is playing Duck Hunt at this point. 4 down, and he's going to finish it off with a great spirit control from the Turkish superstar. 27 kills. I feel like at halftime he was at 18, and we're 3 rounds in. So yeah, he's doing work right now. And has to be said, I'm not really sure what Envy can do about it. Like, you can have all the strategies in the world, but if Xantares is just being Xantares,
it's kind of tricky,
is that going to be enough, right? Like,
yeah. We'll find out. This is the big round anyway. Rifles galore for Envy. No AWPs to be seen. I don't think that's a big problem for them, considering they don't really have a AWPer. Calyx on the other side, of course, will be putting that down towards Ivy.
Seem fairly flexible on the side of Space Soldiers as well. So far, we've had Major picking up on the T side together with Engine. First one to bust it out on the CT side will be Calyx. Might be down to positions, obviously. Calyx playing over towards Ivy. But Major is the one to open things up, so he's going to take out RPK towards the inner bomb side and actually gets out of dodge as well. For now, though, no real indication as to what Envy wants to do. They don't necessarily have all the utility in the world. They do still have 3 smokes to play with here, so they could set up for an execution towards either bomb site, but so those Molotovs to kind of clear out any nooks and crannies around the map, it's going to be a bigger issue.
And let's hope they remember the bomb this time for the T side.
Yeah.
It looks like Keo is now put to task for that. Scream has found Xantares. That's a big scalp to claim, considering Xantares has been a pretty impactful player thus far. Molotov goes in, Paz being forced away, but 39 seconds. The CT side still has a lot of utility to slow this hit down. Happy does not want to go down there to the, you know, ring of hell that waits. Yeah. Old Engine on the other side. A good flash to keep control of towards Ivy, but it's Calyx again to find Happy. This is big work for them. It's just down to Scream now. The bomb's left in towards enemy territory, and he has a mountain to climb. So there's 3 players to get through, and he's simply not going to do it. Space Soldiers get the first roll, kind of very important round as well, to kind of push that money again back down for EnVyUs and get more rounds on the board for them. It's 11-8. We know that Envy do seem to, you know, be able to wind up in this and really get into the game again, but good to see for Space Soldiers recovering well after that very shaky start in this match.
Yeah. And we see good use of, I guess, crossfire flashes being set up for each other on the side of Space Soldiers. That's actually something EnVyUs are really, really good at. They were, at least back when they were playing with Sixer, especially on Train as well, setting themselves up for getting big advantages in those kind of peaks. Haven't really seen too much of it as of right now, but still lots of rounds to be played with here on the T side. Now, though, it's just going to be pistols and hopefully a bomb plant on the side of Envy. 2 flashes and a smoke. That's all they have to work with. 2 players already on the inner bomb site for Space Soldiers here, though, so If all things go according to plan, this should be fairly doable for Space Soldiers. Go down as well. Duel though, but Centaur is the right place at the right time, but so is RPK. This is kind of what we've seen him do time and time again on train as well, just walking along that higher, picking people off as they rotate in. It's a 2v2 situation. Our kits on the side of Space Soldiers as well, and Calyx, quick reactions there. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you have an AWP on the retake, it's always a little tricky, but I mean, if you're hitting shots like that, then, well, it's very easy.
Exactly.
Scream, just the deagle, Molotov'd out, taken down. It's retake complete for Space Soldiers, 12 to 8 now, coming onto the board. So, I mean, close round there. EnVyUs only made it pretty tricky, or should I say RPK did. Those 3 kills, he just walked out, he was like, I'm having a great time, no one can see me, no one's shooting me, perfect. And yeah, that worked out very nicely.
I do like to see it, and I guess in that way, it plays out in a similar fashion as to what we saw in the first half for Space Soldiers as well. They weren't winning the rounds or breaking the economy of EnVyUs right off the bat, but they were keeping it at a modest pace. That is going to be the scenario as well. So money dwindling down on most Space Soldiers members. The only one really having a bit of a bank is Engine, and he, to be fair, has quite a bit. That quickly goes away as they have to replenish if Envy were to win this round.
Yep. Let's see what Major's up to here. Already going to go to a play with B. Scream does find Paz, and yeah, it's Calyx to find Key over. The trades are coming back in. It's not an easy one this time for Space Soldiers. B is completely open, but do you know what, Halvor? I've just noticed the bomb's in spawn again.
It's a minor detail, Lauren.
All right, keep going forward, Envy. Never stop.
It.
Never surrender. Continue to fight, because you kind of need to. Happy knows that. He left the bomb there on purpose. It was a smart play. I simply don't understand, but Engine's read this. Does he know? Oh, Engine, that was great. I don't know what gave it away, if he saw RPK or heard a step maybe, but now you're baffled if you're Engine. You're like, right, they hit B, but where's the bomb?
It's been a solid 30 seconds of battling on the inner bomb site. Nothing has really happened out of it. It probably makes him aware of the fact that the bomb might have gone out there. So yeah, the long con, I guess remains to be seen if it works out for MV, but definitely nets them a bomb plant. Haji is spotted out as well. And here's a bit of an issue though. Lots of utility to play with for Engine.
No,
ooh, that's a bit
great.
of a fluff.
Good flash though, underhand flash comes in, and the second. Haji is not blind, however, he is perfectly fine in the end. He caught the second flash there, but the first he was good for. And see, this is the genius here, Halvor. We didn't see it.
No, I mean...
But the thing is that actually, the bomb was left in spawn to allow for that play.
That is very true. I mean, if they had been into that inner bomb site, Engine obviously would have been aware of it from the get-go. There you have it. Next level play is being made by EnVyUs, and that is going to net them the first round of the half. And as we talked about, not necessarily... Well, this is a bit weird, actually. Has Paz forgotten his gun? I think he has, because Engine has used all of his bank, and Paz is still rocking a P250. So, a bit curious as to how that went about, but we talked about how the economy on the side of Space Soldiers weren't necessarily set in stone. And Happy to venture out into yard and actually find 2 frags. That's Calyx and Centaur is gone. Tons of space being created here, but he doesn't really seem to be committed to it in any case. They're going to run in towards Inner. They're going to run into Paz and Major. Bomb's still alive, though. Scream. RPK goes down. Happy with quick flank. This is going to create more chaos in the ranks of Space Soldiers. And eventually Paz is dealt with. That leaves Engine all by his lonesome here. Actually, one of the few players who's still rocking that silenced M4. Probably not going to do a whole lot of a difference in this round, but...
It's just, it looks nice. I have that one as well. I don't use it at the moment, but it just looks pretty. You know?
I held on to that for the longest time in hopes of maybe seeing an update happening.
No.
Not losing a step once it came back, but I've had to succumb to the pressure of just a superior weapon. But yeah, as being pointed out on the scoreboard, Zentaris is a bit of a one-man show right now.
He is the hard carry. Avoid Zentaris, win the round.
Yeah. Potentially send out Happy to just clear him out as well.
Yeah.
Very well done there. On the side of the French in-game leader. That's going to net 2 rounds in a row for EnVyUs, and you talked about it. Space Soldiers will win the pistol round.
All the rounds.
And then EnVy come back into it.
All the maps, all the bonus rounds.
Doing everything.
Clear-cut games these days. And now the money's pretty much trashed for Space Soldiers. They're in a real tricky spot. Obviously, it's the life of a CT. Never in the right position for it, but Engine is your difference maker, and a bit of a stack towards Ivy as well. They're going to try and maybe flash someone out, not too sure. They might just go for it dry, and they do. Zentaris uses the most OP gun in the world, obviously. That's CZ, and he finds 1, but Kyo is good for 2, so still very favorable to EnVyUs here.
Yeah. Once again, not really affected by what goes on. Still sticking true to their plan, regardless of how many frags they find to start things off. I guess that is the smart way of going about it. You don't want to run into these pistols. Happy's going to clear out Major as well. Major's been playing fairly aggressive here as a solo defender on the inner bomb site. Hasn't necessarily found too much success with it. Some success, though, will come the way of Paz as he finds Kiyoshima because the bomb is dropped in spawn, Lauren.
Genius.
And look at that. Well, might be a stroke of genius firing back at them, but no, Engine pulls up a Molotov after laying down the smoke, and Happy's gonna run through it and end the round. But yeah, do you see some potential hiccups to the grand master plan that EnVyUs have concocted so far? But they're sticking true to it, at least.
Oh yeah, the
Not
dedication is unfallible. I love it.
Hashtag hard work and dedication. That's what EnVyUs is all about.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, gonna see a tactical timeout coming out here. So not a technical. Love to see that. Space Soldiers needing to think things through. I haven't found too much success, obviously, outside of first buy round and pistol on the CT side. I guess it's also a discussion within the team whether or not they want to invest into this round, whether or not they want to make sure they get ops up, all the utility. And they're going to go with the buy, though. And as you can see, not a whole lot of Molotovs to work around with, which is obviously very important on the CT side to defend people off, especially for Majors playing on that solo inner bomb site. He will, though, have a smoke and a Molotov to his name.
Okay. This is the fight back time for Space Soldiers. This is what the pause was for. This is what the investment is. It's got to be now. Got to make it happen. Paz already taking a little bit of damage, not too much. Obviously, that's not anything to be too worried about. Molotov goes out towards top of the brown holes or the box holes just to make sure no one has pushed up. But Space Soldier's not doing anything crazy, nothing completely out there. Pretty standard thus far. No mass amount of CT-sided aggression being necessary. They're just holding on for now, trying to make the best of that very limited utility that they currently have. Quite sparing use. EnVy on the other side obviously have a little bit more to work with. It looks like they are eyeing up that B side of things. Still have players towards Ivy, one towards, I guess, working their way through by, above Pop, but still, that player on Ivy is really getting a lot of attention. I think that's Kyo. But this hit is going to be going towards B. You can see the smoke's being lined up. We might as well watch his perspective. You do have Major here as well, not with the AWP, he's in the back lines, but it will be Zentaris to try and handle this. Lovely shot on the first, quick reactions, the second's great as well. Can he get any more? Is he only good for 2? No, it's a third as well for this man. He's an absolute beast when it comes to those sort of positions. And he's completely eviscerated EnVyUs. They're down to one man, Kyo. He was the player kind of pestering towards Ivy. And now he might be able to be a bit more of a pest here. It's only going to at least make it uncomfortable for Engine. Working this way around the blue train, and there it is, the assassination. But a 1v3 is a lot to ask now.
Especially with 10 seconds on the board. Bit of a tall order, but he is in a position to hold on to his weapon. And I swear to God, when I look at Zentaris, it kind of feels like he's playing with an AK regardless of what weapon he has.
So
because you don't see the classic, like, dink, then bit of a,
a little bit of the wiggle spray.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
The garden hose coming out. It's just like, people just immediately die.
Why does my gun not do this?
Exactly, I've been asking the same question as well. Maybe Zentaris knows a few things that we don't. Might be why he's sitting at, well, I think it's up to 34 frags now. Doing a pretty solid job for himself. Yeah, there we go. 34, 5, and 17. Well, you said it earlier. Avoid Zentaris, win the round. That might be the game plan as we go forward here for EnVy. Even though they have strung quite a few rounds together here on the T side, their economy's not in the greatest of space. If they were to lose this round, it would be either a wonky force buy or just straight up admitting defeat and allowing Space Soldiers to potentially get to match point. Some around. Solo set up on the inner bomb site from Space Soldiers. Well, as I say that, Zentaris is just going to rotate towards inner.
Saying Space Soldiers is actually quite hard, but you can't use the shorter version of it. You can't use the initials.
Definitely don't do that.
That's the no-go. So, I mean, it's quite difficult to cast them, but it's just a side note. It's like
The Turkish team.
The Turkish side, yeah. Turkish team, yeah. All of that, perfectly fine. Everything else not good. RPK just slides on down. Paz is going to be gutted by that. Calix actually misses a shot. That's kind of uncharacteristic. This guy's been very, very good. Scream is there to find Engine, and we're seeing Calix here under severe pressure and scrutiny. Hatchty works his way in from Ivy. Couldn't follow up on the turret, but it is just Major left in a 1v3. He's in a decent spot for this, but you can see the smoke goes up. He's going to use that as the opportunity to move forward faster. Can't stop the plant. He actually gets off the plant and takes the fight. Major's still in trouble here. Down to 47 HP. He wants to go back again, though. This man doesn't know when he's done.
Man, 6 bullets on his AK as well. Does find Happy, though. So, still an opportunity here. He knows at least where one of the 2 remaining EnVyUs players are. Does have a Molotov as well. Time is ticking, though. Bomb halfway through. Oh, that's going to be perfect
really
Molotov.
Nice so good. Major! This guy is so talented. Oof. Space Soldiers don't only have the teamwork, the chemistry, they have individual players who can do this sort of stuff. Everyone looks at Xantares as you know, your big, heavy hitter, but this guy, what a bit of play then.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, the fact that he just has the presence of mind to understand where the last EnVyUs player is rotating around from as well. It's like, considering where the bomb is, obviously planted in the middle of the train, you kind of would have expected the second EnVyUs member in that situation to maybe be playing old bomb train, that kind of stuff, but just immediately goes over towards backline. Definitely, yeah, from the clutches of defeat, Space Soldiers do pick up that 14th round. We'll see EnVyUs deciding not to falter. They're going to buy into this, and they're going to run straight towards Enter. Screen gets taken out by Major, who had such a good round in the previous one. Gets traded out by RPK, but not before Engine is in place to find some balance to things. Haji, with a MAC-10, only going to be good for 1 as well. Things are looking somewhat grim here for the French side. Happy has made his way out into higher. He's going to find Engine as well, though. A bit unaware, it's out of position. Keo's going to follow that up on Xantares as well. Now it's Calix. Haven't seen too much of him coming into the CT side here. This would be the perfect time to make your presence felt.
It's a nice looking unit. Doesn't get to do much with it, but it's a nice looking unit. I like that.
And that is something to take.
You have to have a nice aesthetic. What's your favorite skin?
Oh, my favorite skin. Oh, you know what? I'm actually just going to go with it because I have it. It's like one of the 3 skins I own.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's the Hyper Beast.
It's a nice one.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that.
The problem is, though, I don't use the M4 anymore, so I don't actually get to see it.
That is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I
Things are not coming up my way.
See, I always loved the fight. The reason we're chatting nonsense, at least now, is because it's timeout. And I bring the best content, obviously. This headset drives me up the wall, however. It's doing my head in.
Yeah, no, I've
only got it for 10 more hours. just gonna put it out there. But no, I'm a big fan of the Fire Serpent, but I actually feel I play worse with the Fire Serpent, so I can't actually.
Do you actually feel like the skins affects how well you play? Is it like your eyes get drawn too much?
Have you seen like CS players? Like they'll change their res, their crosshair color, they'll change like gun position, feeling this will make a difference. I mean, yes.
Fair.
I feel that I can't use the Fire Serpent.
Is it because your eyes get drawn to the skin?
It might be. I used to have Drawgun Zero, so I mean.
There you go.
I would love to have
Is that even
Drawgun
legal?
Zero. What, in this game? No.
No, I was about to say.
In
I
other
know it
games,
was
yes.
a thing in like earlier
In,
than
like,
1.5 and
Quake,
everything. Yeah, it was even
yeah.
in 1.5 as well.
I love that. Like, I'm a huge fan of that sort of stuff. But anyway, back into the action. The pause has come to an end, and even though Space Soldiers are doing well, they are working with a lot less than the other side, but that doesn't seem to make a difference. They are doing wonderfully. Major, again, right at the helm of this ship, and it's sailing right towards a victory here. Hachi, though, trying to keep things together, do what he can. Here's Keo finding good position. Hachi didn't get too affected by the flash, but how quickly Paz was in there, he still got the job done, still made him turn. 1v2 now. Keo doesn't have the bomb either. 1 minute to play with.
Wow. Not having the bomb, though. Familiar territory for EnVyUs. We'll see how Space Soldiers decide to play this out. If they're going to go with the same kind of option that we saw Envy do and kind of just stick together as a duo, playing off of that man advantage. And that seems to be the case as well. Smoke coming out. That will allow for Keo, will potentially allow for Keo to get the bomb. Does get tagged pretty heavily through the smoke, though. Ooh, this is a nice move from Major as well. Just going through that smoke. Oh, and Paz is just going to ignore the fact that it's there completely.
That's the other option.
Always thinking one step ahead of these pro players.
Can we also just check Xantares' score right now? Let's see how he's doing. Is he on for the 40? I remember my friend who was at, where was it? Antwerp Esports Festival, AEF.
Yeah.
One of those.
There's a bit of throwback there.
Yeah, I think it was AEF. And he tagged up as on for the 40, as he got like a 4 kills at the start of the game. He ended up finishing on 4 kills for some reason. And it's just like,
oh, that's
on
amazing.
for the 40. Just didn't really work out. Shout out to Mark Corner. Anyways, Antaurus, the man, the myth. And what a legend this guy is already. 2 big kills coming out. These guys are getting shredded here, just completely decimating the opponents. Scream, though, gets out the BFG, the CZ. Not so big, but still pretty good. But it was Space Soldiers to close out in the end. I mean, it was a very close game to begin with, it felt. But once Space Soldiers got control of the game, it felt like they were always destined to lose.
Yeah, it felt like EnVyUs pretty much had to run with the momentum they got to start things off. I think it was up to 6-1 at one point. That's where they really had to do a lot of their work. CT side, it kind of felt like Space Soldiers allowed for EnVyUs to get into it, in a sense. They were conservative with their buys and so on, just playing the long game. That does reap the rewards in the end. So 16-12, not a bad showing whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure it's Cash coming up next as well, which Space Soldiers have like 9,000 winning game streak. So that's going to be a tough task for EnVyUs.
Incendiary out.